Alrighty guys, so today we're going to be talking about why we rotate tires, how we rotate tires, specifically on four-wheel drives and tires that have a directional pattern. So to start off, why we rotate tires. We rotate tires every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, typically, because your tires wear more in the front because of the increased weight on the front of the truck. And also because you're turning and cornering. So when you go around corners, it's going to dig in on, say you're taking a right turn, it's going to dig on the left side as all that weight shifts forward and rolls around the corner. So then when we're talking about tires, there are directional and non-directional tires. So let's go walk around the side of my truck. So these are mud terrains. As you can see, they kind of have this V pattern where it's kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's sloping forward, and it's shaped almost like a V, like this, like that. And a lot of that is for water shedding and different properties, grip, being that it's a mud tire, you know, off-road grip. But you'll have non-directional tires where these things would be parallel, like almost, I don't want to say perfectly parallel, but you can tell the tread doesn't have a direction. Like, see how these are facing forward, you know, it's directional. And a lot of times on the sidewall of the tire, it will tell you if it's directional, or it will say rotation forward or direction forward. So the sidewall should tell you if it's directional or not. So mine are directional, which is going to change up the whole game of how you actually rotate them. When it comes to actually rotating your tires, the directional or non-directional is going to have probably the biggest impact on how you do that. Offset and tire size, like if you run wider ones in the back than the front, it's obviously going to make a big difference as well, because you're not going to be able to put the back ones up front. But as far as we're concerned, we're going to be talking about directional tires for this, because I couldn't really find that many videos on directional tires, especially for four-wheel drive rotations. With a front-wheel drive, what you would do is you would send the front two straight back, and you would put the back two and cross them up. So this is for a front-wheel drive. For a rear-wheel drive / 4x4, what you would do is you would cross the two front ones back and then send the rear ones straight forward. What we're going to do, because we have a directional four-wheel drive and our tires are four-wheel drive, but they're also directional, what we're going to do is we're going to send them straight forward and straight back. So it's easier, but because they're directional, if you try to cross them, then the direction would obviously change if you tried to, you know, cross them across or whatever. So that's pretty much the science behind rotating tires. So today, this is what we're going to focus on, just moving the back ones to the front and the front ones to the back to keep the direction and also rotate them. Alright, the number one step is always going to be to set your emergency brake. Alright, now before you jack this thing up, you're going to have to loosen the lug nuts on all tires unless you have a lift and an impact driver. So for me, this is going to be an issue. Not an issue, it's going to take a little longer because I have to undo all these Allen keys to get to the lug nuts behind this plastic plate here. Now, if you have a special lug nut wrench, this is when you're going to need this, and it's time to attack these lug nuts. Next, we're going to be jacking it up. I always do it under the front diff, or the frame is better. And then you set up your jack stands underneath the frame. This is for the front. Just keep in mind, you always want to jack to the minimum. So only jack up what you need to get your tires off the ground. And it will just increase your stability and make sure that you're not up too high, because the higher you go, the easier it is to flip off a jack stand or something like that. Alrighty, we have the front end jacked up on this Uriyo. As you can see, the jack stands are sitting on the frame. People say to shake your truck, just to make sure it's steady. I try not to mess with it as much as possible. Obviously you want to make sure they're sturdy enough, but I also don't like shaking the truck when it's on stands. But got the back lugs loosened up, you have the front lugs all loosened, so now you can take the front lugs all the way off and take the tires off. And we're also going to change out the front disc brakes, so I'll have another tutorial for that as well. But the front lugs are off, or I'm going to take the front lugs off, get the front tires, just switch them to the back, and then before I put the back tires on the front, alrighty, here's how she's looking. We're gonna finish up this tire rotation tutorial. So, where were we? Oh yes, moving the front tires to the back and the back to the front.
The more you know who you are and what you want.
So for rotating tires, like these, 33 by 12.5 with a 20-inch wheel. These suckers weigh like 70, I want to say 70 or 80 pounds, maybe 90. So the easiest way to get them lined up is to line up the holes like this, or the studs, line up the studs with the holes, and then use your legs. And I'll show you a little trick, because you're gonna break your back trying to lift all these with just your arms. So try to get the studs, then put your legs on either side of the tire, and try to use your legs to lift it up to line up the studs, and it really helps. To get tire lined up, hold wide. And that's how you line it up. So you're like this. Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna put your stud bolts back on, and you're just gonna get them. You're not gonna be able to torque them down, obviously, because the wheel's gonna spin if you go to torque them. So just put them. I put them a little tight as I can get, like hand tight, or with the stud wrench. And then when it gets on the ground, that's when we get it super tight. But you want your wheel to be pretty flush with the hub. I mean, you want it to be, even, because you're dropping all the weight on it. So you want all the bolts to be in as far as they're gonna go. So another tip for y'all is when you're snugging down all your lug nuts, you're gonna want to do it in a star pattern. That is to say, you're gonna want to do them across from each other. Here, I'll show you guys. So it ensures that there's even pressure on the hub, that you're getting the wheel flush. So let's say I started with this one, and here, actually, let's start with this one. Start with this one. We're gonna get this one tightened down. Then you go from this one to this one. You would do that one. Then from that one, cross to here, here to there, there to there, there. So just as long as you're going to cross, and it's just going to keep that wheel, instead of moving on its axis like this, it's going to keep it nice and flush and flat to the hub itself. Alrighty, so we got all the lug nuts torqued down somewhat, not all the way, but torqued down a little bit. So now what we're going to do is lower the back end on the truck. So take the jack and jack stands out in the back, and then we can torque the back wheels down all the way, and then we'll go up to the front, jack it up, take jack stands out, drop it down, torque the front ones up all the way, and all we got to do is replace the covers, and that's it. That's a wrap. Alrighty guys, that is a wrap. Wheels and tires are back on, so now we're going to put the hubcaps back on, and that's it. And the job is finished, guys. Hope this video was helpful to you guys for tire rotation. If it was, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we're gonna have more tutorials coming out. Hopefully ones that I can go into a little more depth in as far as information. It's getting hot out here, guys. But yeah, hopefully in the future I can do some more tutorials. I enjoy doing them. If they were helpful, hit that like button, leave a comment if it was, or if you have any suggestions for tutorials you would like to see on the Silverado, the Mazda, or if you have any questions about Jeep stuff. But hit that like button and subscribe, and then drop me a comment. Let me know if this video was helpful, and take it easy guys. We'll see you next time.